goes by Ali. Yehia Ali has a bachelor's degree in accounting from Alexandria University and a master's degree in business administration from Strayer University. Mr. Ali comes with a medical billing and coding experience at the physician's office. He's worked as the regional academic chair for the medical billing and coding health information technology at Florida Technical College. Ali has also worked as a curriculum developer for the Orange County Public Schools, medical coder billing program, and taught for the Ultimate Medical Academy online. He is a certified professional coder, credentialed through AAPC, certified healthcare technology specialist from AHIMA. Tell us what AHIMA is.
American Health Information Management Association.
Thank you. He served as an education officer at AAPC Orlando chapter. He's currently working at the UCF Regional Extension Center, helping providers comply with the meaningful use aspects of their EHR and ICD-10 coding compliance, and we know both of those are major issues this year. Please give a warm welcome to Ali. Let's continue to move on. Ali, you're going to talk about ICD-10, and that is in their future as well. Please, go ahead.
So with ICD-10, we're talking about a very near compliance date of October 2014, which is October this year, so we've got 9 months remaining. The change comes from, we're changing from ICD-9, which is what we have now as a code set for diagnosis. So this is what goes, these are the codes that go on your claim form that are sent to the insurance company in order for the doctors and the providers to get reimbursed for their services. These codes are expanded from the 9th version into the 10th version. It has been out in other parts of the world, including Canada and Europe. However, in the U.S., we had been slow in implementing it because of the cost factor that goes along with it and all the legislation stopping. This was originally scheduled for 2013, has been pushed back to this year. The reasons are, part of it is also HIPAA. HIPAA has taken a toll on everything else to comply with, and the resistance of shareholders, and also the cost. Needless to say that, you know, EHRs have already consumed much of the budget that was assigned for new things to implement. So let's take a look at the changes between ICD-9 and 10. As far as the number of codes, we had 3,800 procedure codes in ICD-9. That will expand to 71,000 in ICD-10. As far as the diagnosis of the CM part, we've got from 14,000 some codes in ICD-9 to 69,000 codes. And these are the codes that are used by most providers, the diagnosis ones, which are expanded in almost 6 or 7 folds. So the code set itself, instead of having 3 to 5 digits in ICD-9, we're going to have 3 to 7. First character was always a number except for the V and E in ICD-9. Now it has expanded to every single code has to start with a letter, and then it follows with numbers afterwards. We also have placeholders that are placed in to replace certain digits, and then an additional 7th to explain the episode of care. So this is how the format is going to look like. We've had 17 chapters in ICD-9. Now we'll expand to 21 chapters in ICD-10. And there will be 3 character categories will continue to be on. So let's take a look at this code, which is 733.1, the equivalent, which is pathologic fracture, and this is how it's going to expand to the M8008XA. So you can see that the level of detail here has expanded to reflect the changes and add laterality to the type of fracture, which is a right versus left. In ICD-9, we didn't have that. There are some mapping methodologies that are available out there for ICD-9 to ICD-10. However, it's not direct mapping. There's no direct mapping available, which means that if you were to get the ICD-9, the existing ICD-9 code, and find out which ICD-10 codes it has become, you'll actually have a long list. It won't be just one code that is equivalent, and that is the challenge that we're going to have to go through, which will lead me to what we need to have, or what impact it will have on the healthcare industry. All the systems will need to be updated to reflect the codes, so your payer systems and the systems in which you send claims, clearing houses, and also your EHR systems that use ICD-9 will need to be updated to reflect the ICD-10 codes. Also, one of the things that are coming with ICD-10 is a stress on provider documentation. As we, as coders, have to abide by what the provider or the doctor puts in their notes, and if they don't document according to what the new code set looks like, then we're not able to code it correctly. That will require training staff and vendor software upgrades. I'm just going to move on to things that we need to do to transition smoothly. So we need to assess our practice readiness, assess who's affected, who needs to get trained, probably the coder, the biller, the office manager, and also provider training. Just basically use a transition impact spreadsheet. This is used by most businesses in order to stay on top of projects. So after you determine that, you will need to stay in touch with your insurance companies to see when they are planning to switch. Some will not switch. Workers' compensation, for example, not switch to ICD-10. However, most payers out there, if not all, have already made the plans to make the switch. There will be a point of time which you will be working with ICD-9 and ICD-10 simultaneously, so that means that your existing staff have to know ICD-10. However, they also need to keep their knowledge of ICD-9 abreast in order to process the existing claims that are available. Just basically in a nutshell, make sure that you have this in your budget for this year in order to transition smoothly. What the impact that this may have on your medical practice is basically loss of revenue if you're not ready for ICD-10 when it comes down in October 1st. Any practice needs money to stay solvent, and if the insurance companies are not paying, then obviously we don't have enough money to pay our bills. If you have any questions, you may write them down, and then we'll take them down at the end. Thank you.
There's content within the documents on your table that have a lot of internet websites that you can go to if, in fact, your security at your company allows you.